Boston Celtics news, boys. We gotta talk about why the Boston Celtics are risking everything this offseason, guys. Why do I say that? First of all, I know you guys missed me. It's been a while since I dropped a video, but we back. So anyways, why are the Boston Celtics risking everything this offseason? Well, as you guys know, news broke yesterday that Danny Ainge has stepped down as the president of basketball operations from the Celtics, and Brad Stevens will no longer be the head coach of the Celtics as he has been promoted to the new president of basketball operations, guys. They are risking everything with this decision. This means a lot for the Celtics, and we're going to get into all of it this video. We're going to get into what this means for the Celtics, why this is a scary decision, what we learned from this decision, and what we learned from the season, and what we can expect in terms of the head coach and the rest of the team stuff that we got to worry about. But first of all, let's talk about why the Celtics made this decision, guys. Why did the Celtics make this decision? Let me know in the comments, what was your initial reaction to this decision? But why did the Celtics make this decision? It's pretty simple, guys. Danny Ainge is at the point in his life where he's not sure if he wants to do this. He said in his press conference that after having 2 heart attacks in the past 10 years, he started to question whether he wanted to continue to do this basketball thing, especially as a president, for the rest of his life. He said that he has other life goals that he wants to achieve and other things that he wants to work on, and especially dealing with the COVID the past 2 seasons. He's been under a lot of stress. He hasn't been enjoying it as much. He's ready to move on to bigger and better things, or at least different things. So I understand why Danny has stepped down. What I do not fucking understand, guys, why the fuck did they promote Brad Stevens to the president of basketball operations? Somebody help me understand why Brad Stevens is the president of basketball operations. Help me understand. What are the Celtics trying to do? Because I don't get it. They are risking a lot with this decision, guys. Brad Stevens, in the press conference, they said, Brad, if you weren't becoming the GM right now, like, would you have been down to coach next year for the Celtics? He said, absolutely. Everyone in the Celtics organization has nothing bad to say about Brad. They're like, Brad's a fantastic coach. He's excellent at what he does. Any team would love to have him as a coach. If you guys feel that way, why the fuck isn't he coaching the Celtics? If you think he's such a great coach, why isn't he coaching the Celtics? Why is he the president? The explanation they said, oh, why did you want to make Brad president? They said, oh, we feel like he has a lot of untapped potential as a potential president, as a front office guy. We feel like he has a lot of potential. It's not about potential when you have 2 players under 25 that are all-stars. You're not hiring guys with potential, especially not as decision makers. You need guys that are top of the line, best at what they do, which brings me to Sam Presti, guys. News came out last evening that the Celtics, quote unquote, considered Sam Presti, and I don't buy that for a fucking second. They should have considered Sam Presti. He's the GM of the fucking Thunder. He's one of the best GMs in the entire league. The Thunder have 30 first-round picks. They've collected 30 first-round picks, have a bunch of great young guys on their team. They're about to get a top 3 pick and potentially a top 5 pick, 2 picks this year. And they're just in a great position. Sam Presti's a great GM. I saw a rumor that said the Celtics considered pursuing Sam Presti. But you didn't. Instead, you hired fucking Brad Stevens. You promoted him. The guy who you guys say is such a great coach for the Celtics. You don't have him coaching the Celtics. You could have got a guy like Sam Presti, or at least made an offer for a guy like Sam Presti. I don't get this, guys. This doesn't make sense. And that's why I feel like the Celtics are risking everything. You have 2 young players that are about to begin entering their primes, under 25. They're going to be entering their primes over the next 2 seasons. These next 2 seasons are crucial, and I'm going to get into that later. I don't know why the fuck they gave Brad this job, bro. I don't. What does this mean for the Celtics, guys? What does this decision of promoting Brad and letting Danny walk mean for the Celtics? It means that there's going to be a learning curve for Brad. He needs time to understand how to be a president. He doesn't have player relationships. He doesn't have relationships with player agents. He doesn't have relationships with agents. He doesn't have relationships with other front office GMs and presidents. This doesn't make sense. If you brought in a guy like Sam Presti, you could have Danny Ainge on one side, teaching him everything he knows, letting him know how the operation runs from his knowledge. Danny Ainge been with the team for like 40 fucking years. You could have Danny Ainge giving Sam advice. You could have Brad Stevens giving Sam advice. So Sam Presti would have been in the middle. You would have had Danny here and Brad here both giving him advice. That's called synergy. That's called making smart moves. That's called vertical integration. Not fucking promoting your coach that's so good at coaching to be a GM. Like if I work at McDonald's and I'm blessed on the fries, they're not going to promote me to the coffee talking about, oh, he has a lot of potential with the coffee. You're going to keep me on the fucking fries. I'm getting worked up. Let me calm down. So it means there's going to be a learning curve for Brad Stevens. It also means that because of this learning curve, we might see some bad decisions be made. And this is not the time for bad decisions to be made with the roster. Because if we learn anything from this season, it's that the only players that are not being traded on this team that are not tradable are Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Kemba, you can fucking go. All the young players, you guys can go. Robert Williams, I love Robert Williams. I wouldn't mind keeping him. He's a great fit with the Celtics. He can go. Marcus Smart, exact same thing. The heart and soul of the Celtics. I wouldn't mind keeping him, but he can go if it will make the team better. Fournier can go. Barry Parker can go. All these guys can go. If there's a deal on the table where we can flip the young guys for someone that can help us now, then go ahead. Flip Pritchard and Naismith and all these guys. Like, they're great young players. They grew a lot this season, but flip them for stuff if we can flip them for stuff. But the fact that we have Brad Stevens, a rookie fucking president, making these decisions is scary because literally everyone on the team can be traded. So we're going to be having a lot of moves being made. We also have the trade exception that we have to use by the end of this summer. So Brad Stevens is going to be the one making the trade with the trade exception. I don't even know if Brad Stevens knows how to make a trade. Brad Stevens may have never even made a trade in 2K, let alone a real NBA trade. So I don't know, bro. I'm just worried about this. This also means that the Celtics are going to have to hire a coach that the players like. Why do I say that, guys? Because if they hire a coach that the players don't like, it's just going to compound the issues that have already been created. We already have the vibe that the players did not know that Brad Stevens was no longer going to be the coach and that Danny Ainge was leaving. We got that vibe because none of the players tweeted out like, oh, Danny, it was great all these years with you. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for believing in us. Have good luck with all your shit. They didn't tweet that shit. They didn't say, oh, Brad, happy to see you in this position. They all were kind of quiet. And this tells me that the players didn't see this coming. One of the few tweets that I saw was Jason Tatum making a joke like Evan Turner should be head coach and just laughing about it. I get the impression from that tweet that he was not involved in this decision. And if you're not involving your two marquee franchise players in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum in your hiring decisions, that can rub players the wrong way, especially when they talk to other superstar players and these superstar players are saying how much leverage they have on decisions that for people to get hired and shit like that. Kevin Durant would never have his president and head coach be changed without his permission. That would never happen. Let me put my light back on. So what do we need to talk about next, guys? This is scary for the Celtics. Why is it scary? This video is already 8 minutes. I need to wrap it up. It's scary because if the Celtics are not contending over the next 2 years, we could see Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown request a trade, guys. Why do I say that? Because we've seen this multiple times already with other superstars. We've seen this with Harden requesting a trade from the Rockets with 2 years left on his contract. We've seen Anthony Davis request a trade from the Pelicans with 2 years left on his contract. We've seen what's his name, bro? There was another example I was gonna drop, but I forgot about it. I don't remember what example I was gonna make. But either way, this is exactly what could happen with Tatum and Brown. If they're not happy and the team is not contending over the next 2 years, these guys are going to start to get restless. They're going to want to go to different teams. If you're not building teams around them, they're going to want to go to different teams. It's not like the city of Boston is like a market like LA or a market like New York where you're going to get exorbitant amounts of endorsement opportunities and like business opportunities and stuff like that. Boston is a big market in itself, but not as big as like a LA or New York. So if they're not going to put a team around them and make them competitive, then what's the point of them wanting to stay in Boston? To be quote unquote loyal to a team that's never loyal to the players? It doesn't make sense, guys. So we could see Tatum and Brown request trades in the next 2 seasons if they are not contenders. And especially when you have a rookie GM, a rookie president in Brad Stevens, it's very unlikely that we're going to see the most sound decisions being made. It's scary, guys. Now let's move on to something positive. And on a positive note, what did we learn from this season, guys? Real quick, I'll make another video about what we can expect from the Celtics in the offseason as the playoffs wrap up. But for now, what do we learn from this season from the Celtics, guys? We learned that Tatum and Brown are the only players that are keepers, that are untouchable on this team. Tatum and Brown are the only untouchable players. We learned that all the young players got better this season. Pritchard got better, Robert Williams got better, Naismith got better, Brown got better, Tatum got better. Like, everybody got better. So that's a good sign. We realized that the Celtics probably should have got Harden if they wanted to win a championship this season. They had an opportunity to get Harden. They would have had to trade Jaylen Brown, couple picks and some pieces, yada, 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 to get James Harden. I say that they may have wanted to make that trade, not because I don't like Jaylen Brown, because I'm saying if they wanted to win the championship this season, it would have made sense. Because as you guys can see, the Lakers are weak. LeBron's dealing with an injury. Anthony Davis is dealing with an injury. The Mavericks are weak. KP and Luka are both dealing with injuries. The Clippers are weak. They're both dealing with injuries, and they're about to lose to the Mavericks. The Heat are knocked out. The Philadelphia 76ers are dealing with injuries with Embiid. Like, their only real competition would have been the Bucks and the Nets. The Nets would have been easier to beat because they wouldn't have had Harden. The Celtics would have had Harden. So we learned that if the Celtics want to win a championship this season, it would have made sense for them to trade for Harden. We also learned that the Celtics will probably move Kemba this offseason. They couldn't move him last offseason because he was dealing with that knee injury and doing rehab. But this offseason, he is recovering a bit better. So any team that truly needs a point guard, we could see the Celtics try to move him to that team. But other than that, guys, I have a few questions for you guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you click the like button and subscribe to the channel. We typically do new NBA videos every week, but now that's the playoffs, I've been kind of slowing down. Once the offseason comes, I'll pick back up because I like doing videos about like trades, free agency, roster changes, stuff like that. I'm not just going to make a video talking about like, oh, Damian Lillard scored 55. Like, you guys already know that. There's no point in me making a video about it. But quick questions. Answer these in the comments. Who do you guys think the Celtics should hire as their head coach? And what should the Celtics do this offseason? Let me know in the comments, guys. Other than that, have a great day. Remember, like the video. Peace, guys.